Okay, it's time to get set up so you can follow along in the course and be able to work through the exercises. So in this course, the setup is pretty easy. We aren't using any libraries or anything like that. So all you will need is a text editor and a browser. The majority of JavaScript code that we write in this course we will run in a browser. There are some mentions of Node.js and a few places where we look at it, but the majority of all code will be run in the browser. Now, Node.js uses the same JavaScript engine as Chrome, so all JavaScript code will run the same way. The only differences would be the environment the code is run in, Node as opposed to the browser. Now, for a code editor, I will be using Visual Studio Code as shown here. This is a free cross-platform editor that is pretty popular. So if you aren't currently using Visual Studio Code and would like to during this course, you can download it here. Now let me jump to Visual Studio Code. I want to show you a few of the plugins I use so that if you want to use them as well, you can. So here's Visual Studio Code. I just have a few files loaded here, but let's go ahead and take a look at the extension so you can see what I'm using here. So first I've used this bracket pair colorizer. Now this has been deprecated, but there are some movies where I've recorded prior to being deprecated that use this. And basically all this does is colorize the bracket. So if you have code that contains several brackets, it colorizes them so you know which go with which. Now the current functionality is built into Visual Studio Code, the latest version. So you will still see that colorization. It may just not use the same colors as what I have. Something else I use is Babel JavaScript. This is a syntax highlighting tool. So when you look at my syntax, the way it highlights, well, let's go to HTML page, it has a little more highlighting there. It's based on Babel JavaScript. That's what I prefer. I like the colors it uses for highlighting. Now the last one, or the last extension I use, which I want to note, is Live Server. Live Server is very helpful. It makes it easy to run a local server so that whenever we save our JavaScript code, we can see the results immediately. So basically the idea is that whenever I want to see what's going on with the code I'm writing in the JavaScript file, I just click on the HTML file, I click Go Live. It opens it up in a browser. And then anytime I make changes over here and save it, I can immediately see the effects of those changes within the browser. And so we'll be using that extensively. So that is the editor that I'll be using throughout the course. So if you'd like to use the same editor, get that installed and you'll be ready to go.